all good.
Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the first video in our TSG Talk series, where we'll take a break from playing games and do the next best thing, talking about games. As always, I'm joined by Simon.
You alright?
Say hello. Jason.
Alright.
Okay, nice. In this first episode, we are going to be counting down the top 5 games on PlayStation 4. As the casual gamer in the group, I'm going to stay out of this one and allow these guys to showcase their list while I attempt to keep them in check. So let's get started. First up, at number 5, we have Jason's pick, Control. Tell us about Control, Jay.
So I played Control recently, I think last month, pretty much start to finish in about a week. Easily one of the most hidden gems that I found this year. I just didn't really know much about it, picked it up, thought I'd give it a go, and then was just hooked on it. It's got a really amazing story. The voiceovers and the acting, the quality that comes through on that is just brilliant. The story and the world is very unique. It does build a little bit slowly, but it's all centered around this place called like the Oldest House, and it's like it's an office block in the middle of New York basically. So it's really really boring. There's photocopiers everywhere, desks and paper and night watchmen and just people milling about. But actually, there's like a whole layer underneath that of what's going on. There's all sorts of creepiness, and I don't want to spoil it because I know Simon's still going to play it, but it's very supernatural. It's very kind of what you see on the outset is definitely not what the game's about. It's a load of hidden depth.
Is it horror? Is it like horror?
No, I would say it was supernatural. It was a bit more thrilling. It's not a gory game. It's not Resident Evil type horror. It's a supernatural, like telekinesis type powers type game.
Right.
There's a janitor in there that's really creepy, but that's just my opinion. But
does that come back to
So it's not going to make me jump if I play it?
No, definitely not. Maybe the janitor, because he made me jump, and you're 10 times worse than me. But yeah.
When you say the janitor, is that reliving some sort of suppressed childhood memory? Is that why he creeped you out, or is it just the game in general?
I don't want to go to school.
There's a creepy janitor, and he's got a Sony Walkman that's called Pony in the game. Obviously, I don't know why they couldn't get the license in there, but he's got the original yellow coloured.
I see what
Walkman,
they did there. I see what they did.
It's got Pony written on it, and he kind of hands that to you as like a thing. But again, I don't want to spoil it for you. But he kind of gives you missions. He can survive being in that office block without anything bad happening to him, and you kind of work that out. But yeah, I mean, just to sort of finish off on Control, one of the things I really liked about it was the variation to the combat and the skills and abilities. You're not just running and gunning, or there's so many different ways to take down an enemy. Not only that, defense is just as good as attack. So you have to use a lot of cover, a lot of shielding, but it isn't a cover-based game like Division. It's nothing like that at all. You can pick up a table or a fire extinguisher or a photocopier, anything, and either throw it at someone or use it as a shield. It's brilliant, and you can use that for chip damage, and then just run in and finish them off, by either shooting them or punching them, or and also it is a little bit of a puzzler. So they have an area where you pull a light switch 3 times and you end up in a sort of American style motel, and you have to work your way through the doors to get back out again. And they regenerate that through the game, but with different puzzles. It's just completely random, but brilliant. The bosses as well, so they are like everyday things, like a fridge or a TV, or like I say, they've all got this sort of supernatural power that you have to extract from them. Just totally different to any other game I've ever played. I would totally recommend it to anyone, simply because on the outset you get a false impression, and then before you know it, a week's gone and you want to play the DLC.
I mean, I definitely want to play it. It's on my hit list. I waited for the Ultimate Edition to come out on PC, and that's the edition I'm going to play, so I get all the DLC and everything. But I agree with you, it piqued my interest, and I think it flew under the radar a little bit when it first came out, but I've seen it's got loads of awards. I think IGN gave it like 8 or 9 out of 10 or something like that. I think it was even their game of the year. I think, I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm well up for it. Glad to hear it's a good game.
Sweet. Oh no, I'm not convinced it's not going to be too scary, so I will probably stay away from that. It's just better to be safe than sorry. I need fluffy games, that's fine.
We'll come round and
cool,
hold
right.
your hand.
Well, I'm not playing with the lights off, that's all I'm saying. I'm not doing that. You guys will have to be
not falling
here
for that again.
virtually to help me out.
You played Resident Evil 7 with the lights
again.
on and you still couldn't do it.
Yeah. No comment.
Yeah. Right, okay, so Simon, in 5th place you went with Marvel's
Yes.
Spider-Man. Now, this always looked cool to me, because personally I don't think there's anything better than swinging around, pretending to be Spidey and beating up bad guys.
Yeah.
What makes this worthy of your list?
I don't think I really have to talk about it too much. I think it's. I know I put it in my top 5, but
I think you do. We're doing a video about it, so you've got to explain it in some
let me
way.
finish the sentence, dear. No, I think it's more to do with the fact that it's an extremely popular game, and I think it's probably the majority of people out there have played it. I go back to the original PS1 Spider-Man. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like you literally only had the rooftops, and then like a metre down from the rooftop, and everything else was fog. And if you dropped off that, it's like you died because it was just the limitations of the hardware. But I still thought that was an awesome game. Even the follow-up to that, I thought that was brilliant. But all the ones in between, I mean, there were some okay Spider-Man games, but everything in between then and now never hit the same heights. Either the gameplay was wrong, or the story was wrong, or the graphics just didn't live up to it. But in this one, everything was spot on. The story, okay, it's got some old beats that it tread. The introduction of how Doc Ock came about and all that sort of stuff. But otherwise, the gameplay, graphics, the city itself looks stunning. The upgrades that you get for it, the variation in it, you don't just feel like you're achieving minor targets to plow through the story. It actually adds value in terms of like combat and things like that. And most importantly, I think what's telling for me about what is a good game is that after completing it, I still went round and did all the side missions and tried to get all the collectibles, even stuff that's boring, like taking photos of landmarks and stuff like that. I didn't do it all.
It's not like you.
Yeah, I have to be honest.
You did the Jason version, didn't you?
I wondered after I'd done the story, not during the story. But no, in all seriousness, like it was other games I just turn off. Like once I've done the story, it's like, well, why do I want to go and collect 50 pages out of a book that gives me a sea shanty type thing? I'd rather just
Crap sea shanties.
Yeah, different kind of pirate.
They were like one of the best things of Black Flag.
No, I should hope so. The whole game was about pirates. But
moving swiftly on, this is not a pirate discussion, Jay.
It should be.
If you cared that much about sea shanties, you should have put Black Flag on your list. Spoiler alert, guys, it's not there.
Yeah, shocker.
Any thoughts on Spider-Man, Jay? Have you played it, or is it still sealed in your cupboard?
It's still sealed in the cupboard. Let me just check. Yeah, it's still there. Look, I've got it. Actually, do you know what? I've got something Simon hasn't got. I've got the only on PlayStation cover for it.
Sweet.
But there's a reason. Obviously, I haven't got a PlayStation 4 Pro. I've got the original PlayStation 4 because I like to keep it original.
Peasant version.
But I'm waiting. Yeah, the peasant version.
Sorry, was that Universal Sign Language for original? Is that
original?
I believe so.
It's my version. South London. I'm waiting for the PlayStation 5, because I feel like if I played it on anything less than a PS4 Pro, I'm not going to get the most out of it. And I felt that way with a few games in my collection that I haven't yet played. And I wish I'd have played Control on PlayStation 4 Pro or PlayStation 5, because it did struggle a little bit in places.
I think you'll have a great experience on PS5 with Spider-Man. I mean, they've already showcased the loading times, and I think that would be brilliant if you can literally have the open world load in like 10-15 seconds compared to the 30 seconds to a minute that I had. But even so, I think it's a testament to the game that it didn't break me from the world. You know, it wasn't world breaking. So it's just a great all round game, really, especially for a licensed superhero game as well. It's a really good game.
Is it a free upgrade to PS5? It might be.
I don't know what the free upgrade would be. I don't know if it's better graphics or what. But
yeah. Well, you get the PS5 version.
Yeah, but just on the hardware alone, you know, you're going to get.
It's going to look better and play better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think the upgrade might be. Sorry, I think the upgrade might be graphic tweaks, but I think it might also give you haptic feedback as well.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
Make use of that new controller. Cool. Excellent choice. Good start to the lists. Hopefully they're going to carry on along the same vein. You're going to put something shit at the end. Next up, Jay, you got your 4th place game. Now you went with Monster Hunter, which Monster Hunter World to give it its full title. Now we all played around with this, and despite the booing, we actually all quite enjoyed it before we found out how crap the multiplayer was.
Can I just put a caveat in real quick?
Then Simon and I left very quickly, and you went on to complete the game.
Can I just put one caveat in really quick, just in case, just before the Rotten Tomatoes get thrown? We didn't like the multiplayer, but I'm going to say that might not be the fault of the game. It could quite likely be the fact that we're all middle-aged men who can't play games properly and don't know how to use the multiplayer properly.
How dare you?
There is an element of Capcom.
I'm middle-aged, you're all old. So somewhere around there, it could be user error. That's all I'm saying. It's possible.
There is an element of Capcom in there, though. I mean, just for clarity, we wanted to play through the campaign as a trio, but the game is
which you can. It advertises it,
but it's not necessarily designed that way because you don't get the same experience as playing it single player. So that was the gripe with Monster Hunter.
It was the whole one person sees the cutscene and then they invite everybody else into the map, if you like.
It would have been nice to have gone through the story together because I really enjoyed the world and the storyline. I enjoyed the side quests a little bit more than the main story. I liked going off hunting, gathering. You know, it's what we're designed for. So crafting better armor,
we're designed for sitting in front of a computer screen playing video games.
Well, yeah, my spine will tell you
we can't even
that's
do
what I do. My spine is certainly moulded to that of a video gamer, but crafting better armor, weaponry, food, potions. I loved it, and then I could go out and hunt a bigger, scarier monster that was kicking my ass earlier. So, and there'd be different ways you could do it. I started out hacking and slashing because I wanted to get into the game. But actually, as I evolved, I was setting traps like nets, and I was using potions and arrows and all kinds of stuff to slow the monsters down first. It was brilliant. I really liked the whole diversity of it. I got invested in developing my own Palico, which is like your sidekick, your little cat sidekick. Chris, I know you're a big fan of that.
Your little weird cat friend.
You can get them out, send them off on safaris. They go do the gathering for you. The whole. I just loved it. You could add elemental effects and gems and jewels, and I mean, it did get a bit much. And to be honest, the menu system isn't the easiest to navigate, but once you're aware of it and all the sub menus and having, really do, by the end of the game, I really appreciated how they were able to set that complex menu system up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I clocked maybe 60, 70 hours on it. Loved it.
And that is time that you will never get back. But
I killed a lot of monsters.
You did, and it was a really cool game, single player. I couldn't play it with you guys, and that made me sad, so I gave up on it.
I'd love you guys to go back.
Deleted it and never to play it again.
Did you say
67 hours?
Did you say 67?
Yes.
I wonder why your wife keeps nudging me when the second one's coming out.
I really wanted to play
She
Iceborne.
heard it next one was twice as big as the old one.
Well,
I can get 3 weeks out of it.
Are we still talking about Monster Hunter here? What's going on?
I really wanted to
Moving
play
swiftly
Iceborne.
on. No, you've had your time.
Well, the new one, there is a new one coming out on Switch.
No,
And
I'm
I'll
gonna
be playing
have to stop
Wrong
you there.
list.
We're going to move on to number 4 now because I'm bored of Monster Hunter. I turned off the game. I sure as shit don't want to keep talking about it.
Missing out.
Now, Simon's number 4. I'm quite excited about this one because I liked it from the minute it came out. Loved the trailers and everything I've read about it. And obviously quite keen to hear from someone who's played it. And it's not going to be you, Jay, because it'd be in your cupboard. If it's as good as it looks. The fact that it's on your list tells me that it probably is. But you have put the much hyped Ghost of Tsushima. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Tsushima.
Sweet.
Yeah,
go for it. Fire away.
Well,
Take all the time you need.
I think I'm saying
We'll
it right.
talk about this for an hour.
Yeah. I could talk about it for an hour. I think I personally have been craving for a decent samurai ninja, authentic Japanese style game. And there are some old ones out there, but the new ones in Neo and Sekiro and all that sort of stuff, they look great, but I just don't have the patience for that Souls type game. You know, I played a game for sort of being immersed in the story and having, you know, variation in the gameplay, where I've always struggled with like Bloodborne and that, because that's been sort of more perfecting the skill and the challenge of the bosses and the environment, that sort of stuff. And there's an emphasis on that. They're still great looking games, but that's where the emphasis are. Whereas with Ghost, it's more around, you know, the graphically, it's something that I haven't seen before. I'd probably say it's close to Breath of the Wild in terms of like style.
It does look really nice. Everything I've seen of it looks amazing.
Yeah. I guess the people themselves, they've tried to put as close to, you know, a real life person, if you like, graphically as possible. But the environments themselves and the animals and stuff are more sort of Breath of the Wild style. And that's that, but not. They don't go full Breath of the Wild. I'm probably, you know, talking about it too much, but they dial it back a little bit. But they complement each other really well. And I'm sure you've seen the photos on social media and that people have done using photo mode. That is genuinely what the game looks like. And I had the luck of playing it on a PS4 Pro, so I got the full benefit I was going to get in, you know, the current generation. Well, I say current, we're probably, by the time this goes up, current generation will probably be PS5 and Xbox Series X. But the gameplay in terms of fight scenes is great. You get different variations in that. You got the normal hack and slash, but then you have duels. Every fight that you go into, you can choose what you want to do. So you can either go in guns blazing, or you can go in stealth, which is where the ghost element comes in. But if you do that, it goes against the way of the samurai, if you like. You're in sin if you do that, and the story touches upon those things, and it's just a very all-engaging, lovely little game. It's the game that I've most recently completed, so I might have a little bit of bias there, but having said that, it would probably never leave my top 10. I'd say that, but I'm comfortable where it is.
You sound
right
like
now.
Bruce Forsyth. Lovely game.
Really? He says that?
I
wouldn't know, I'm too young.
A Ghost of
Wait,
Tsushima sounds like something
Who's
that
that?
happens to you after you've eaten spicy food.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, if I wasn't so
Sour.
tight being a middle-aged gamer and refuse to pay the kind of price it is for brand new, but I will absolutely pick that up second-hand when the price drops on it and give it a go.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Any thoughts on it, Jay? I mean, aside from your bad Bruce Forsyth things, I mean, I know you don't have it, do you? Because
It's not in my cupboard, no. It's not.
You clearly hate ninjas, which is
No,
a
I don't hate ninjas. I
stance
don't hate
to take.
ninjas. I've got Neo.
I don't hate them. I'm just not friends with them.
I've got Neo 1 and 2. I played a good chunk of Neo. I got a bit frustrated with it, really. I know Simon said he play a little bit of Neo.
I played Shinobi. It doesn't make me a ninja fan, you know.
I don't hate him. I don't know where you got that from. I don't hate him. You know, any ninja sneaking up on me now, I don't hate you guys, you know.
Well, you wouldn't know they're that good at sneaking. You wouldn't know till it's over.
Well, that's why I'm getting it out there now. I don't want to get like ambushed. If there's,
if there are ninjas about,
yeah, it's just hanging
pop
around.
up in the background of Jay's camera. That'd be awesome.
We'll edit it out. Don't worry.
Yeah. I don't know about Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima. I don't know about it. I mean, I love the idea of like Neo. I really got into that. And Shadows Die Twice. I'd love to play that. But I think I don't know. I think I would prefer those to Ghost of Tsushima. So it's not in my cupboard.
Fair enough. Well, we will leave that one in its place.
Oh, just one last bit.
Go on.
Most recently, there's been a DLC release, so you can actually do like a co-op now. So when you get off your ass, Chris, and buy it, let me know. Do co-op.
Sweet. Now that sounds exciting.
Can I be one of the animals that you're on about?
No, you can go back to your Monster Hunter.
Go and chase dinosaurs. You'll be fine. Right, moving swiftly on. Getting excited now. We're into top 3 territory.
I hope
this is what we've all been waiting for.
The atmosphere's electric.
I was going to do
the ninjas in the background are going wild.
I can't do it. So now you've come at number 3, Jay, with Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I personally think is a bit of a controversial choice because I played it a little bit and I didn't really like it. I thought it was a bit shit, really. But each to their own. Horses for courses, as they say.
Well, I played Tomb Raider Reboot when I was recovering from an operation a few years ago, and then I went straight into Rise after that. And it's literally a perfect game for me. Platforming, puzzles, Lara Croft. Yes, I'm a sucker for Lara. The story and the characters in Rise are really strong, and you guys know that Indiana Jones is like my favourite hero of all time, like better than Batman, Superman, Iron Man, all the mans you can think of. Indiana Jones is my favourite hero, and she is literally a female version of that. It was the fact you got to go off the main path to find the best tombs, rather than stick on with the story. If you crash through the story, you would never see any. The best stuff is off the path. You have to go wandering, unlock side missions.
Which, as we all know, is your specialist skill, isn't it? You are the wanderer. So I can see now why you love this game so much.
But the use of getting around the environments as well. They made really good use of the pickaxe to climb, rope arrows to access areas where you wouldn't necessarily get to before. The one thing I would say is she was quite brutal. You can do like finishing moves, so like either splitting someone on the head with an axe or whatever. It was a bit brutal. And there's QTE bits. I'm not a big fan of that type of game, or that type of mechanic, but it wasn't a showstopper. You can craft bombs in the middle of combat, which is wicked because like. If you've gone in and just unloaded your entire clip and not killed anyone, you can just duck, make a bomb, throw that instead. Brilliant.
How very A-team.
Yeah. She goes into a barn and comes out in a tank. Okay. But yeah, I mean, she's quite. They've although she's a killer in this game, and I wasn't quite happy with that. She's also shows a bit of vulnerability, so. Don't get excited. She groans when she's hitting people. If she's in a real tough fight, she will.
You can see in her eyes that she doesn't want to be hitting people.
She's got daddy
she's
issues.
She's just confused and scared.
She makes groaning sounds as she's slugging, right? And then I don't know. I just felt a bit more connected
enough
to
said.
Lara.
It's fine. Yeah.
Whereas something like Nathan Drake, I don't know. I preferred Rise of Tomb Raider. I loved it. I'd happily play that.
Why do you prefer Lara Croft to Nathan Drake?
Because he doesn't wear hot pants, okay? And if he did, it just wouldn't be the same.
I'm still
exactly
like digesting the 18 comment because I'm pretty sure wasn't there an episode where they made a gun that fires cabbages?
Cabbage Master 2000. That might be that.
I'm pretty sure there was like a town that they saved, and they made a gun that fires cabbages against like armed militia of some kind, and obviously came out. I'm going to try and find that.
Russian like Spetsnaz or something like that, you know, or
Spot
ninjas creeping out,
Yeah,
and then Hannibal comes out of like a cabbage sprayer 2000.
It's like I don't know. It's like some big turret thing that I'm pretty sure. Anyway, sorry, you were discussing Lara's vulnerabilities.
We were discussing Lara's vulnerabilities. Yes,
I think they show it really well, and I have got the third one to finish. I need to set aside some time to do that, but it's a shame you gave up on Rise. I think you should carry on.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant.
I think my time with Tomb Raider games was done a little while ago on the early one. So on that basis, unless you have any startling additions to add to that, Si.
Well, no, I'm the same as you. I played Tomb Raider for a little bit, the new series, and just checked out because not that they're bad games, but I didn't feel it brought anything new to the table that I haven't played before.
No,
and I just felt like
I think the early games.
Yeah, I think they were trying to probably cash in a bit too much on nostalgia, which I've done before. I bought games in the past that based purely on nostalgia, like the Crash Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy and stuff like that, and they've not been great games. But I've still enjoyed them. But yeah, just Tomb Raider just something didn't click, so I moved on.
Yeah, I think that's the same with me. So, and just like that, we're going to move on to number 3 in the list. Now, we're going to skip yours for now, Si, because yours appears
outrageous
favoritism.
What
can I say?
You can say the truth. Favoritism. That's what it is.
Okay, it's favoritism because somebody else ranked it a little bit higher, the same game, and somebody it makes sense.
Saw it for what it was worth.
Somebody saw more value in it than you did. So therefore, to make up for it, I'm going to let you go next. We're going to switch orders around, and you get to go straight in at number 2.
Oh, thank you very
now,
much.
This is a game that you've talked about a lot, and to be honest, I was a little bit surprised that it wasn't your number 1 game. And it's a game that I'm a little bit scared to play on my own, in case it makes me jump. Because, as we all know, I don't like being made to jump. And that is The Last of Us Remastered. Tell us all about it.
I didn't jump on this top 5 is games that we've played on the PS4. For me, it's a list of games that I've played and completed on the PS4. But I never played the original PS3 version, so I picked this up as a sort of something to play on day one of PS4 release. And it really surprised me. I'd heard good things, but I didn't expect it to be as good as what it turned out. It's not horror in the strictest sense of like a Resident Evil or anything like that. But it obviously is dealing with like a future apocalyptic pandemic world, which I suppose is quite appropriate. They didn't mention about.
It does feel somewhat relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of, on trend. But the gameplay is nothing to rave about, right? It's if you've played Uncharted, that sort of stuff, it's going to be exactly the same. However, there is a crafting mechanic. There is a mechanic where enemies are sensitive to sound. So you can like throw a bottle in one direction and you run in the other, that sort of stuff to get through certain situations. Not everything is all out firefighting. You obviously have the human element, which is another enemy which you fight. But what kind of gamer I am. I really get hooked in by the storyline, and I think that's what resonated with me in this game, big time, in terms of all the sort of personal touches they put on. It wasn't just a guy and a girl struggling through a pandemic. They actually touched upon their relationship, and it's no spoiler. The guy, well, actually, no, it is a bit of a spoiler if you haven't played it yet, Chris. So I'm not going to say it, but
don't do that.
Yeah,
we could have tens of people watching this video that also haven't.
Yeah, exactly right. But it happens right at the beginning, and it sets the tone, and it really is sort of catches you off guard. It caught me off guard.
Okay.
And yeah, the storyline, the way it evolved, every story beat made sense. It wasn't being elaborate for elaborate's sake. It actually made sense to an extent that this would happen, or this would play out this way, or this person would take this action. Graphically, looks really good. Don't think there'd be any problems graphically. It is sort of an upscale PS3 game, so keep that in mind. I say it's not horror, it isn't, but obviously the enemies in that are there to be gross.
Is it brutal?
It is, yeah. It's really brutal. Like some of the death scenes. So the enemies are called clickers. If they get hold of you and they kill you, yeah, Sebastian Under the Sea. If they get hold of you, like the death scenes are sort of probably more brutal than like Resident Evil. Do you know what I mean? You actually see like bone and sinew and muscle sort of like explode as they bite into you and that sort of stuff. But it's not.
Oh shit, man! I don't want to play that now.
Of course you do. But it's not.
Damn it. I bought this game off the back of your recommendation, and now you got all kinds of fucking scary crap like that.
It's not
Has
scary.
It got PG?
Just don't get eaten.
Has it got a PG filter? You're like in Mortal Kombat. You can turn the blood off.
Yeah, it turns it green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have the PG version?
Or because it's PS4, you can turn the blood to popcorn. So just.
Or maybe I just don't die. Maybe I'll just be that awesome at the game that I won't die. I'm going to go with that. That seems reasonable.
No, nobody else is going with that.
Anything to add from you, Jay?
Sorry, it doesn't.
No.
Sorry, Jay.
Oh, go on. Sorry, no, go on. If you're not done, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, it won't punish you. You know, if you're in a boss encounter, for example, and the boss kills you, it literally resets you straight to that part. Like, there's none of this. Oh, we'll deduct so many pound coins, or we'll deduct bits of your armor or ammo, or whatever. It's literally right, reset. You're back in the room, go again, and it's quite refreshing. So you're not going back half an hour to get there again or anything like that.
Do you think that's inherent?
That's one of the things that's always annoyed me.
Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Who said what?
Oh, go on, Jay.
Do you think that's inherent of it being a PS3 game? Like just that kind of era?
No, I think it's more to do with the fact that what pulls this game along is the storyline, and not necessarily the gameplay's good because there's two characters going along with you the whole time. You're never on your own, so there's constant chit chat between them, which builds the relationship. So it's the story that drags it, and the gameplay's good, but it's not fantastic. So you wouldn't buy it. Like a Mario game, you buy a Mario game for the gameplay. This is the opposite. Gameplay's good, but it's not great. But it's the story that captures you.
Okay.
So the fact there's two other people with you the whole time, Chris, does that mean you're more confident playing it on your own?
Yeah, as soon as I said that, actually, I felt, because even if they are virtual companions, I just feel like maybe that'll emotionally bolster me while I'm playing the game. I might give it a go now. I'm still with lights on. Obviously, I'm not an idiot.
Oh my god.
I know.
No, I'm not really that worried about it. I joke. I'm not really that fussed about Among Us. I will play it. Not Among Us. What am I talking about? Last of Us. Wrong game completely. Okay. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be tough to beat that one, Jay. You've come in with a bit of a wild card, in my opinion, but now this is a game that I actually have played and I did enjoy. In fact, Simon and I had a little go on multiplayer. Had a little run around, and I died many times, obviously, because that's.
Is this Jay's number 3?
No, it's Jay's number 2.
Oh, it's Jay's number 2. Okay.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
This is a wild
number
card.
2.
It is a wild card.
Yeah.
But then I like to be different. I like to be very different.
And I think based on the rest of your list, people will be surprised. But it's Titanfall 2.
Yeah, definitely not to be confused with Titanfall 1, which had no story and was literally just a disc allowing you access to the internet.
Like one of those AOL discs they used to send for it.
Yeah. Like, or the game you got with the Dreamcast to enter, what do they call it? Dream World or something or other. You put it in and you can get online. Rubbish. Sorry, Titanfall developers. Titanfall 2 is brilliant. The story mode alone is one of the best I've played. It's one of my favourite games ever, not just like a PS4 game. Totally hooked on the relationship between Cooper and BT. And I was in like one more level type mode, even though there's only like 9-10 levels, chapters. I was in one more level mode the whole time. It could have just been run and gun with mechs, but it wasn't. there was a lot more elements to it, like wall running, jumping, ejecting from your Titan. You can fight with or without it, give it some instructions, like, go off and kill all these people, I'm going to go and look for some treasure or whatever.
I know how it feels.
But yeah,
where have I seen that before?
It is a wild card. It would be easy to pick Bloodborne or Souls or Last of Us or any of the other kind of default Sony fanboy masterpiece movie inhaling all-encompassing type set-piece games. It would be easy to pick that, but I've always been like a little bit out there.
Always been a renegade.
And I guess one of the things I really liked about it is not a lot of people I know were talking about Titanfall 2 at the time. And I suppose that was a shame because it did limit my multiplayer experience. But it did feel like another hidden gem, a bit like Control, that I was playing. And that really added to it for me. It felt like I was playing something else that nobody else was. I'd happily go back and do it again. Yes, it is a short campaign, but I even bought the Cooper BT Funko as a reminder. And to be honest, if Titanfall 3 come out, I'd just be an immediate purchase because I can't see how they would do anything worse than Titanfall 2. And yeah, I know you guys have played online without me, but I'd happily go back and do it again. I think there's it's different. The online gameplay different to Call of Duty. There's different elements, different types of players. It's very, very out there. I know it's not like a AAA title, but again, for me, that kind of makes it a little bit more special and pushes it up my list.
Fair enough. Seems reasonable. Anything from you on Titanfall there, Si?
Yeah, I agree with Jay. I played Titanfall 2. It's not in my top 10, but it is a really good game. I like the campaign as well. When we played online and did the multiplayer, there seems to be a massive community on there, especially on PS4.
There's a lot of people playing.
Yeah, always managed to find a match of some description. But I think the only thing that let Titanfall 2 down was possibly EA just sandwiching it in when I think it came out at the same time as Battlefield 1 came out, and I think back then as well whatever version of Call of Duty came out at the same time as well. I can't remember. So it was like,
what was the one after World at War? I think it was that one.
God
Future
knows.
Something. I don't know.
God knows. But when you've already got fan bases there, and a lot of those people could potentially only buy one or the other, which way is their money going to go? And then you throw in Titanfall 2, which Titanfall 1 I think was purely an online game. It's kind of been set up for failure a little bit, which was a shame because I think on its own merit it's a really good game, and I think if it had been released in the right window, we probably would have seen a Titanfall 3 by now.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, we all liked it. Maybe it's something we can do a future video on at some point. Since we've all played it and like it. Okay, so look, we've made it to number 2. There's only one left to go. It's a pretty good list. I think a lot of those games, could have featured in many people's lists. However, before we unveil number 1, I think we should take a second in remembrance of the games that almost made the list, the honourable mentions. Now, Jason, for you, you put The Witcher 3, which I know you're a fan of, Mortal Kombat XL, which we played a little bit. I played a little bit with you. Nice. And Hellblade. Simon, you put Final Fantasy VII Remake, which again I know you spent countless hours, late nights and early mornings playing on that when you probably should have been working. No doubt.
We didn't hear from you. We didn't hear from you for about 3 days and nights straight.
Every time I switched on PlayStation, he's still playing Final Fantasy. It's like, bog off, guys, I'm playing.
Mate, I've waited
Resident
20
Evil
years
2
for
remake.
that. Do you know what I'm saying? Back down.
No, that's fair enough. I'll give you that.
Okay, Cloud.
All right.
Resident Evil 2 remake almost made it onto the list. That was a good little game. I played.
Did you enjoy playing? Did you complete that one, Chris?
No. But then, hang on a second.
Why
Let me
not?
think. What was the last game I completed? I'm gonna have to come back to you on that. I don't complete games. I play them until I get bored and then I move on. And also you put Witcher 3 as one of your honourable mentions.
Yeah.
Which I think they're all worthy contenders in a lot of people's lists. You know, some of those would feature higher. So, it's that time. Without further ado, drum roll please. In at number 1, your favourite PS4 game of all time, cream of the crop, top dog, is God of War. Simon, this is yours, obviously. Well, you know because it's your game.
Yeah.
You know. Now, this one's always looked awesome. When it came out, I really fancied it, and then for whatever reason, I never got it. Haven't played any of the games in season. However, I do have a copy of it that I loaded up recently when we were talking about having this conversation. Because you rated it so highly, I thought, well, it must be that good. And it was only like 15 quid on Amazon, so yeah. How did it make it to numero uno?
Well, firstly, I'd just like to say, Chris, you've got great choice by listening to my recommendations over Hipster Jay. Just saying.
Very
I also own
stereotypical
Titanfall 2,
choices.
if that makes him feel any better.
Only because
It's a great game.
God of War. I think God of War finally grew up. I played the very first one and played every single one, including the PSP games. The only one I didn't play, I think, was the mobile version, but I think that was exclusive to like a Sony Ericsson phone or something like that.
They had to do something to get people buying phones, I guess, didn't they?
Exactly right. But otherwise, I've played. I even played that Battlestar. Is it All Star Royale or something? PlayStation came out with their version of Smash Bros, right?
Sony's version of Smash. Yeah.
And it was good. I couldn't stick with it. It lost me. But, I bought it just because he was in it as well. But I think what people found, what they got disenchanted with was the fact it was just an angry guy running around killing people, right? Oh yeah, okay, his wife and kid died, he murdered them, but, I'm now going to go off and just kill everything. And it sort of lost its purpose. It just became a hack and slash. But I think that God of War 3, which was the last game to come out on the PS3, was just stunning. You're riding on the back of a Titan, and everything's to scale. So you're literally the size of their fingernail, and you're running around on their back or their forearm or whatever, having to kill enemies or traverse terrain, that sort of stuff. And that sort of set the scene for, where it needed to go from there. But the God of War on PS4, I think, was it 2018 it came out? Sort of matured. It is very, very story focused. It's about love and loss of that love, and coming to terms with demons of your past and not wanting to pass them on to your children, and trying to do the best thing for your child but not knowing exactly how to do it, and then potentially the only way of saving that child is to revisit and actually use those demons to your advantage, at the risk of perhaps alienating, your remaining loved ones. And that story just trickled along nicely with what is just a fantastic open world. I mean, it's not strictly open world. It's like a hub, if you like, where you go into different parts of the world and things. So it's quite linear in that fashion, but it gave you enough freedom for you to feel like you were exploring an open world, if that makes sense. As closed off as it was, it's nowhere near like a Witcher or anything like that. It's a lot more condensed, a lot more. But it's,
didn't they do something clever with the loading screens so it didn't ever look like it was loading?
Yeah, they like when you play a game and it says, oh, you got to squeeze through this gap, and there's like two close rocks or a really tight door or something, or they have to open a door and there's like an animation, and you know that they're just doing that because they're loading the next room behind the scenes, right? There was a lot of that, but it wasn't the same thing every time. It wasn't, oh, I'm squeezing through a gap. There was like an actual cutscene that actually added value. It wasn't just a cutscene for cutscene's sake. And there might be some bits that you had to walk through that, again, made sense. But all the while, the game just kept going and going and going. No load times, nothing. It was fantastic. It was just a really heartfelt game that, on top of it, made you a double-hard bastard, breaking, apart anything that came your way. And the most satisfying bit, which is really weird, which I would love if they did an update for PS5 with the haptic feedback, but every time you called your axe back, so you get this like mythical axe, and you throw it, and you get a button that retrieves it, so it just flies back into your hand. You know, like Thor, right? Out of the
Like
Marvel.
Thor. Yeah.
But the thump it makes in his hand and the vibration through the controller, it's just, there's nothing more satisfying. I can't explain it to you.
That sounds like that'd be very cool on the PS5. Make use
If
of
they
that.
do anything, yeah, if they do it, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
The vibration as you grab your axe.
Yeah. Any thoughts from you on that, Joe? Have you played?
He sold me on that alone. Yeah. Good vibrations as you
Just be able to
as
get
you-
the
as you
vibration
grab
when
your
I hold
axe.
my axe.
Do you know what really
Yeah.
said it to you, Jay? Is the bit that you get to see
Yeah.
Kratos' vulnerabilities. So
You were talking about a love story just now.
it's not a love story. It's your love for people, not a love story.
I played God of War on PSP, Chains of Olympus.
Yep.
And can't remember what the other one is called now.
Your
Can't remember.
Son of Sparta, I think it is. Something
So
like that.
that's it, Son of Sparta. That was the one on PSP, and Chains of Olympus. I've got God of War 4 installed on PlayStation, ready to go. I'm just working my way through a few things, and then I'll be on it.
Just got a few things to finish up, and then
I
I'll
stay
be on it.
away from you know the obvious titles until last minute. I'm frightened I'll be disappointed. So I like to play my little indie titles or my little sort of hidden gems and off the beaten track titles.
Can't be disappointed if only 3 people have ever played the game. That's right.
No, I love it. But it's all about that vibration and grabbing
When you
your axe.
hold your axe.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, well, I feel a bit spent after all that, but
After
still
all
got
that
more to
grabbing
go.
of the axe, you're now spent. Is that what you're saying?
I feel a little bit spent. I was
That's
mainly
what I'm
referring to the countdown thus far, rather than specifics to axe vibration. So we've got one more to go, Jay.
Yes.
Tell us what made your heart sing more than shooting people from inside a giant robot.
So not just my favourite PS4 game, but another game that's on my all-time list, Ratchet and Clank. That's my number one PS4 game of all time. Simply, the child in me is that if you've ever wanted to know what a Pixar movie would look like as a game, that is literally it. Although there was a movie released of the same name, but that absolutely tanked. It was awful. They basically stitched together the cutscenes, I think, and made a video. But the game itself is amazing. The worlds and the levels and the designs are just awesome. The fact you can swim, skate, jetpack, just incredible. And the whole thing, as I say, plays out like a real life kind of Toy Story. The fact that you can throw a disco ball in the air and make your baddies or the enemies dance, I think it's a Groovytron. And disco music will break out and they'll start dancing until you attack them again. And there's a load of comedy in there, and just pure chaos on the screen all at once. You'll either be flying a ship or skating on rails or just shooting and coins and crates, and everything will be going everywhere. And it really works. It really does work. It's like the graphics and the colour just pop really bad. It's a must play for literally anyone. My only criticism of the game, is as you're going through the story, you then have to go back if you want to unlock things that you couldn't get to before. Like you'll need a key or a certain upgrade, or and I kind of wasn't a big fan of that. I'd like to be able to get to things as I'm going and go off and explore and not get 9 hours into a campaign and then go back to level 1 just to get through a door I couldn't do. I don't think that really added to it, but outside of that, it literally is a must play for anyone.
I agree. I mean, I'm an absolute sucker for a pretty looking game. I will take good looking games and scenery. I mean, I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 literally on launch day. I was at game at 5 to 9 in the morning, purely because it looked so amazing. I played Red Dead 1 and I can never get that time back. But anyway, I should have Ratchet and Clank. I don't. I've never played it, but it looks totally up my street. So
you should.
That will be my next Amazon purchase. I should do that. I was actually excited, almost as excited as you guys were when we saw the new version on PS5. Now, eagle-eyed viewers may notice that we skipped number 3 for Simon earlier, and that was because he had Ratchet and Clank at number 3. Any other sales pitches there? I mean, I'm already buying the game, so don't go in too hard, but
I just looked in the cupboard. It's there. You can borrow it. Just go easy with it. It's my favourite PS4 game.
Okay, we're in lockdown, so you're going to have to chuck it out the window to me. I'm
That's
not
fine.
allowed in other people's houses right now, so...
That's fine. You're in my support bubble.
Yeah, you need a support
Yeah,
bubble.
you need all the support you can get.
Any other thoughts from you, Si? Obviously, Jay, liked it more because he put it at number 1. But,
No, I mean, it's obviously grabbed Jay more than it grabbed me. However, it was number 3 in my list. It's still, I feel, a fantastic game. And I think if you own a PS4, this should definitely be part of your game catalogue. Even if you don't hold on to it, you need to play this game. The only thing I'll say about Jay's comment about like the going back with the gadget or whatever it is to open up new parts, that doesn't take away from the game at all. If you just pick up the controller and you just play it, from beginning to end, just following the story beats, etc., etc., you'll love it. It doesn't detract at all. I think the only thing is that they put those bits in there just to give it a little bit of longevity for those people who do want to do those things, who do want to probably go in a bit OP, on certain bosses and that sort of stuff, make the game a bit easier in the long run. But it's not, I say easier, it's not that challenging a game. It's pretty fair in all honesty. But
yeah,
it's
just a fun game rather than
it's
super serious thing.
It's a stunning game, and it's got adult humour in it as well, as much as it's got kid humour in it. That it helps you relate to it.
There's loads of innuendos.
Yeah,
but I agree. The campaign can go start to finish on the basis that I didn't go back to do the stuff. That's just more for the completionist type stuff. But it's my number 1 game because it's just an epitome of why I play video games. There has to be no other factor other than enjoyment, and I literally enjoyed every single minute of that game, start to finish.
Can't really offer any higher praise than that, can we? And I think that does.
It's just not as good as
that's
God
a
of War.
worthy end.
Yeah.
Well, look, one's funny little like raccoon thing with a robot pet. Another guy's like an ancient demigod with an axe that kills people. I can see how it's difficult to choose between the two.
I know where my money is.
But overall,
what was the Lorax
pretty emotional
animal that Ratchet is? I can't remember.
I think he's a made-up animal. I don't think he's like a real animal.
Oh no, you can pet him at the zoo. Of course, he's made up. I can't remember the name of what he is now. But I know that I'd rather go out into the universe as sort of like a dwarf fox cat thing with a little robot by my side than
It can be arranged.
Yeah. Than some of the other options out there on the market at the moment. It's just pure fun. That's all it is,
Well, I'm already going
Literally
bald,
pure
so I've
fun.
just got to put on the muscles and an extra 2 foot, and
You
Bob's
got
your
the
uncle.
vibration in
We
the
got
axe
this.
still, or you need some help with that?
I've got the massive axe as well, so that's no problem either.
Yeah, but does it still vibrate?
Well, does it work, do you mean? No, probably not. I might as well detach it at this point. Bastard.
Throw it at someone.
Oh, could you imagine? It just hits him on the side of the face and hits the floor. It just give you this look.
Imagine the policeman. Excuse me, sir, is this your axe? Well, I know what it looks like, officer. But
Do you
it's
know
fancy
what?
dress day.
People
and I'm
outside of
being
the
Kratos.
UK honestly probably think that a policeman would behave like that in this situation. Oh, excuse me, sir, did you drop something? No, they would taser the shit out of us and wrestle us to the ground and then beat us to a pulp. Don't watch Hollywood.
I am Kratos.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get tasered.
Come to the real world.
Well, look,
But we do
we
drink
digressed a little bit there.
Yeah.
However, it's been an emotional run through of the best that PlayStation 4 has to offer. I think they're pretty good choices. I enjoyed that. But I think that does about wrap up this video. So thanks to everyone who's watched it. Appreciate. Subscribe if you've liked it. There's a little button maybe there. Actually, no, it'll probably be there actually on your screen. Subscribe to the channel and we will see you next time. So thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
See you
Ta-ra.
later. Bye.